Hey, good rising, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. Today is a lovely day. I am Tayla Andre. Waking up with Tayla Andre has absolutely nothing to do with the time of day we link up, but about waking up your third eye with unorthodox conversations leading to universal consciousness. So, there's a new movie coming out, and I'm so excited. Let's go ahead and play this real quick because I want to see what them is all about. And so, they had a movie called Us, and now there's a movie called Them. Yo. Who going to see it? Who? It's on Amazon Prime. Who got Amazon Prime? Well, I do have Amazon Prime, but are you going to watch it? I kind of do. I'm a punk. I don't know if y'all know this about me. I can't do scary movies. I don't know, because I absorb all of the, like, I can't do scary movies, but I do want to see it just because Us was dope. And what was the other scary movie? Get Out was dope. Good rising, good rising. How you doing? It's on what's the name? It's on Amazon Prime. Yo, can we talk about movies real quick? So, Eddie Murphy is at like they hit numbers with Coming to America too. And I know a lot of people dislike it and a lot of people like it. And so I want to know how you feel about it. How did you feel about Coming to America 2 if you haven't already seen it? And so I believe, was it on HBO? I think it was like HBO or one of the damn streaming services the kids got hooked up. I feel like an old lady sometimes when it comes to stuff like that. But I watched it. When it came to Coming to America 2, for me, the parts that I didn't like was like the character reactions. And so whenever they showed like somebody walking in the door and then like Eddie Murphy's reaction or like somebody's reaction to whatever it is that they were doing, for me, that was like, it seemed overly fake. And that part was just too much. Overall, I enjoyed it, but overall, I ain't finna watch that. So for me, it was just like Coming to America is that movie that you could watch. I've seen it at least a million times. All of us have seen it at least a million times. And it's a movie that I don't care how many times USA play it with all the commercials, you're going to sit down and watch it over and over and over again. And you're going to pick up on different things and different people in there that you previously didn't know or like all of that, right? Over and over. And even like trading places, watching it over and over again. So I can't see myself watching Coming to America 2 again. So I already watched it. I can't see myself watching it again. I'm not a fan of this camera here. What is this? Oops. Okay, never mind. We're going to have to work with what we have. until break, and then I'll change it. And so, but I'm proud that we finally came out with a sequel because we've been waiting for a sequel my whole life. I don't remember there not being a time people not waiting for a Coming to America 2 sequel. And so now that it's here, what are you going to do with it? And we just going to, be happy that it finally got put out. And it is what it is. I don't know. I wish it was better in some sense. Who cares? Yesterday was an amazing day. Of course, my phone blew up. Like, Tayla, how could you? Why would you? I can't believe you. I said it because I can. And I will continue to say all of the things that my heart and soul feels. Because I'm not afraid. I be feeling horror, like, I'm sorry I said this thing. If you said it in purpose, on purpose, in that moment. So more importantly, it's like, I'm sorry, you're offended. Because I said it, and I said it with my whole chest. I'm sorry it offended you. Good rising, mega mass. Bill Ray, Mike Nice, what's going on? Good rising to you all. Why? Tony B, hold up, this look illified. That she talking about that movie. I'm scared. You guys want to watch it together? I can watch it in the daytime. That's what I can do. I can watch it in the daytime with the lights on, and then make sure I go to sleep thinking about happy thoughts. Even today, I still think about Get Out, different parts of Get Out, and it still terrifies me in a sense, but I'm scary, and that's what it is. Today is day 3 of consistency when it comes to going to the gym. And I am excited and scared at the same time. So I found a video. I was in a video one time, a music video, back in 8 years ago. But my shape was so dope. And so that is currently my motivation for going to the gym. It hurts so bad to sit down, to walk upstairs, to walk downstairs. The hardest part is I am drinking an abundance of water and smoothies and all these other things, but I work in a public space with public bathrooms, and I don't like sitting on toilets. And so I don't even know what muscle this is, but this front thigh muscle that hurts so much, and then trying to hold yourself up while peeing. Oh gosh, it's harmful. Good rising. As far as news is concerned, so Little Mama is being accused of being transphobic, and she says that children are too young to change their gender. This isn't the first time that the entertainer has raised brows about her sentiments about transgendered community. Listen, I have somebody in my family who wanted so bad to have an Adam's apple, and it's a girl who wanted to be a boy. Let me tell you how quickly and short-lived that was. And had I been the person to advocate, yeah, let her be a him. And the parent was like, okay, fine, I'm gonna let her be a him. I have all these people putting pressure on me, pressure bust pipes, and you look I like the rough type. And so if it was the type of person who was just I'm gonna let my child change their gender, and then all of a sudden you change your mind when you are 8. And some people are letting their children change their gender as little as 3. You really don't even know the difference between a boy and a girl at that time. You don't. Everybody sitting down to pee. Don't you you probably ain't seeing nobody but your mother sit down to pee, so you thinking you want to sit down to pee too. It's just at 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let me tell you something. When I go back and I look at my journal entries from a year ago, don't even have to be 5 years, don't have to be 10 years. The things that I want a year ago and adamant, and was I desperately want these things. This is the thing that my heart is set on. And I'm God, thank you so much for knowing that this thing was not for me. I thought I wanted it. I don't want it for real. Thank you for knowing the difference. I appreciate that. We cannot, and from what I understand, transphobic means that, hurling slurs and, I hate the gays. Being transphobic is being ignorant and being disrespectful and homophobic and xenophobic. But if you're saying, yo, like, give these kids a chance to grow up and to make a decision and a choice for themselves after the age of 18, then fine, let them do that. But how is that transphobic if you saying give the kids a chance? Give these children a chance to be children and stop forcing your ideas and your ideologies and you on the baby. Let the baby make the decision when the baby's no longer a damn baby. How about that? Because you don't let your kids change their name. I want to be Spider-Man. I'm not going to change your name. Anari wanted to change his name to Spider-Man. So he went to school for a couple of days and his name was Spider-Man. That was the furthest we take it. Then if you wanna be a boy, you can be a boy. You wanna wear boy clothes, you can wear boy clothes. But we ain't finna take you and take out your vagina and make you a penis. No, not at 8, not at 12, and not at 16. It's not gonna happen. If at 18 you decide to, with your own money, with your own insurance, if that's what you want to do, by all means do it. At 18. And come see me when you're 25 when you change your mind. And the numbers of people who end up changing their mind for transgender is through the effing roof. It's through the roof. In other news, the Atlantic Black Star has this article called "They're No Longer Wearing Hoods." So it's a critical call out of the FBI after a leaked report confirms concerns of white supremacists seeking affiliation with law enforcement. So the white supremacists seeking to infiltrate law enforcement and military groups to shore up cause, FBI says the FBI report. White supremacists seeking affiliation to commit violent acts towards other racial groups and to wage war. So the white supremacist group are planning to join law enforcement and military organizations so they can commit acts of violence and learn how to engage in war against other racial and ethnic groups. And this is an FBI report. We didn't need an FBI report. We talk about this all of the time, how like we don't need a report. We could tell you the truth, but you don't believe us until you get the numbers for yourself. So the intelligence comes from a document obtained by ABC News entitled "Siege-Inspired Actors Very Likely Seek Military and Law Enforcement Affiliation. The increasing risk of tradecraft profilation and color of law offenses in the FBI San Antonio area of responsibility." It was distributed to law enforcement agencies in Texas and other parts of the nation. In long term, FBI San Antonio assesses racially motivated violent extremists successfully entering the military law enforcement careers almost certainly will gain access to non-public tradecraft and information, enabling them to enhance operational security and develop new tactics in and beyond FBI San Antonio. And the document was dated February 25th. White supremacists are said to have plans to exploit the social connections when pursuing military and law enforcement employment, reducing obstacles and increasing opportunities to acquire trade craft. Now, one of the things that we really have to do, and the article continues on and on and on, which we won't read because this is like, we can't pretend like they haven't been wearing hoods for a really long time. And even when they were wearing hoods, they were already the police officers. And so I hate the fact that, like, not to quote unquote, I told you so, but we've been telling you this. This ain't new information. Just because it was dated February something, 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 let's go back 100 years. It's been happening for years. But, there was a study done, so all of a sudden, this is new information. Google employees who were fired that filed different racism complaints were told to seek therapy. So multiple current and past employees of the tech company claim to have been sent away by the Human Resources Department and told that they need to go seek therapy because what they feel as microaggressions were all in their head. Nobody's being racist towards you. Going on leave is so normalized. I can think of 10 people that I know in the last year that have gone on mental health leave because of the way that they were treated, said a former Google employee. Another employee claimed a similar experience. Benjamin Cruz, a Mexican-American, shared his story. While employed as an instructional designer in the Google Cloud division, they allegedly had a colleague comment on how dark their skin was. Cruz claimed to have gone to HR for a resolution and was told that he should go assume good intent behind the person's racially motivated words. After I made my complaint, my work started getting pushed out from under me, but my team acted like everything was fine. I wanted to find help, Cruz said, according to reports. When the medical leave was recommended to me, it was like an automatic process. And so Google is continuously rolling out. We will continue reading the stories about all the effery taking place behind the scenes in Google. Can I tell you how excited I am of the dismantling of racism, the dismantling of norms, the dismantling of the monarch? I am really excited about the dismantlement of inequities. I love it. I feel like, which is a dumb, like super excited in my Eddie Murphy mode. Someone to love. So disparity by design, how urban planning and housing policy helped create a food apartheid in U.S. cities. The Department of Agriculture estimates, and mind you, we read the story yesterday, and I do want to read it today after I find it in the sea of like 30,000 tabs. The fact that when it comes to the agriculture, once upon a time, like 100 years ago, there was 14% Black farmers, and today there are 2% of Black Americans that are farmers today. And the struggle is real when you have you have systems set up and designed to make every process of whatever it is that you're attempting to do in every sector of life damn near impossible. And so when we talked yesterday about welfare queens and how the welfare queen is depicted of a Black woman who overutilizes services, the real welfare queens in America are the corporations and industries that utilize subsidies. And the agriculture business is one of them. So milk. Do you know how much of your tax-paying dollars go to milk suppliers? And they, with recent studies, they said that people ain't even drinking milk no more. We want almond milk. We want oat milk. We want nut milk. We don't want no cow titty milk. So the U.S. Department of Agriculture estimates that 54.4 million Americans live in low-income areas with poor access to healthy foods. Again, another study that didn't need to be had because all that money could have went to the people. From now on, whenever you do a study, just pay Black people to tell you what we've been telling you for free all of these years. For real, like I'm so serious. When it comes to all of these studies, even the $1 million study that was sent out of Boston to figure out the procurement process here in Boston as far as contracts are concerned, all you had to do was look at the list of all of the people who attempted to put in a bid for any contract and then have a conversation with them. You could have paid Black people for their expertise and you would have got a better study than what you did paying somebody else $1 million. That's really how studies need to be done in the future. But that's just my 2 cents. So intimately tied, food apartheid, according to reports, food apartheid is intimately tied to policies and practices, current and historic, that come from a place of anti-Blackness. Whenever I visit my grandmother, she lives in Birmingham, Alabama. She lives on the east side of Birmingham. When I tell you the lack of fresh fruit, the lack of access to anything that's not fried or smothered or like fruit, you would think Alabama is such an agricultural hub. They grow everything. So you would think that there would be like more fruit stands of like natural fruit, or what's this thing called? Like farmers markets. I would love to see like a South End Soho type farmers market in Birmingham. Maybe it exists. Maybe it's at Railroad Park. I'm unsure. But every time I've been to Birmingham, I hardly ever see any fruit stands except for the farmer who lived down the street that got a couple watermelons, and them shits is bomb with the black seeds. But we, again, like 54.4 million Americans that live in low income areas have poor access to healthy food. That is not new. We've known this. It's a food desert. Here in the city of Boston, if you live in Roxbury, you have to go all the way to Mattapan before you even come to a smoothie place, like fresh fruit, vegetable smoothies. If you live in Hyde Park, like I'm trying to think of all of the places where all of the smoothie spots are, and there's really none. I know in the summertime we do have farmers markets, and they do pop-ups in different neighborhoods. I know they have like some type of collaboration with the state, so they're able to accept food stamps. But again, I think it's only on Tuesdays and Thursdays, or like it varies by neighborhood. But aside from that, in the wintertime, I want to say in the city of Boston, we are completely lucky because at any point in time, I can go ahead and go to like Baby Nats, even though it's not organic. Nothing has damn seeds, but Baby Nats is nothing but an abundance of fruits and vegetables. If you go to the corner stores, we don't have like bodegas like New York that have like a lot of fruits and vegetables. Sometimes they'll have like old ass apples and rotten bananas that they went to the grocery store and got on sale. But for the most part, we do live in a food desert here in the city of Boston and many cities across the nation. So I don't know why we act like it. Stop doing damn studies for things that we could tell you. Just pay Black people and we'll let you know all the tea. The House passed the $1.9 trillion COVID stimulus 10th today. And the House will take it up on Wednesday. The House took it up today. And the Senate version of the $1.9 trillion coronavirus relief package, the chamber is expected to pass the bill despite it reduced the boosted unemployment benefits of $100 per week. Joe Biden said he will sign the American Rescue Plan as soon as it hits his desk. The $1,400 direct checks could be sent out to Americans as early as next week. President Biden will not have his name on the stimulus checks as Donald Trump did. He said that this is not about him. This is about the American people getting relief. And if we're going to talk about American people getting relief, $1,400 really isn't going to do anything when you are already a year behind on your rent. And so if you are in the city of Boston and are a year behind on your rent, the RAFT program is giving up to $10,000 for back pay of rent. And so if you know anybody who doesn't have or has tenants that aren't paying rent, just ask the tenant to fill out this information. I'll do my part as a landlord. Let's go ahead and get your rent paid, and let's go ahead and get my mortgage taken care of. And so with all that being said, we have hit the stop mark because I got to pay some bills, and then we're going to come right back and talk a little bit more about the news that you should know. And then from there, hopefully I'll have a special something for you at 12.
Spark FM. What's up, everybody? This is James Jimmy Hills, host of Java with Jimmy on Spark FM Online. Make sure you tune in every Monday and every Wednesday from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. Also, follow Java with Jimmy on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And don't forget to go to Spark FM Online and download the app. Listen to Spark FM Online 24/7. Igniting the airwaves. Spark FM. Join us on Facebook and Instagram at sparkfmonline.com.
Okay, so we were back. That was short-lived. I wanted to go ahead. Shout out to Java with Jimmy, James Hill, for all that he does as far as community, and he's been doing the work for a long time. So the police solve a cold case murder of the professional gambler, 53 years old, found in the trunk of his Cadillac at a Boston airport 30 years ago, and says new DNA evidence points to a man who worked for the Patricia family, crime family. And so I already knew that this nonsense had something to do with some mafias. So the Bristol, Massachusetts County District Attorney Office has managed to link a suspect to a cold case murder of the Howard Ferreni in 1991. The body of Ferreni, a professional gambler, was found decomposing in the trunk of his blue Cadillac at the Boston airport with a plastic bag around his head. Yo, don't this feel like Goodfellas? You don't feel like Casino real quick? It was determined his skull was fractured by a hammer blow, but died from asphyxiation after the plastic bag was placed over his head. Investigators found jewelry and $6,000 in cash on him and determined the homicide was not the result of a robbery. Police found Ferrani had been assaulted in his home before being dumped into the trunk and driven to the airport with at least 2 people involved. The DA's cold case unit has now identified one participant as Kevin Haran from a fingerprint found on the plastic bag. Haran is described as a freelance enforcer for the Patricia crime family and was killed in a shooting in 1992. Can we also please find out Whitey Bulger and how many of Whitey Bulger's people are still in the Boston Police Department? That was the first question I asked Mayor Marty Walsh when he became mayor. What were we going to do about the known police officers that were involved in the Whitey Bulger crime? So we're going to act like Whitey Bulger died and all of the cops that helped him and worked alongside of him and were integrated into the police system just stopped being bad and became good citizens all over? Like, can we have a real conversation, or are we going to keep doing this play thing? NASA passed a key assembly milestone on the $18.6 billion. $18.6 billion to put a rocket into space. So I just want to shout out to all of your tax-paying dollars. Listen, so once upon a time, I didn't pay taxes. Why? Because I did everything under the table. And I was also like young. I was a little kid. I was 17. What are they going to do? Find me? Like, I'm under the age of 18. And so I had a completely different mindset. When I hit 18 and started like working, and they started taking money out of my check, I was like, yo, we the people. Mind you, I'm young. I'm young as hell. I'm not making no money, no degree, no nothing. But when them little $28 was taken out, who is FICA? Who is FICA, and why do they take $28 every week? Like, I started getting mad. And I started getting engaged and involved. Like, no taxation without representation. No representation, no. Yes, you're not finna tax me. Don't take my money, and you don't represent me. And I don't understand why more of us are not upset. Listen, if you pay your kids an allowance every week, your kids get paid $20 an allowance, but the trash ain't never taken out, dishes ain't never done, room ain't never cleaned. They don't, whatever their chores are, they don't never do their chores. The hell, I'm paying you $20, $30, $100. I don't care what the number is. It could be a dime. Whatever that allowance is, if you're not doing what I'm paying you to do, what am I paying you for? And I don't understand why more people aren't upset when it comes to education, when it comes to the police. Why are we begging and asking the police to do this and to do that? Nah, man, I pay you. You finna do this. I don't understand like why we don't rock out with our cock out on a regular basis. I'm a tax-paying citizen. And that's the difference between Black Americans and the Black people as a whole, or people of color, or however you want to identify yourself, and people who are Caucasian and understand that their taxes, like my taxes, they ain't got no problem telling the police, I pay your taxes. You ain't finna talk to me crazy. You don't disrespect me, I will take my money back. I will get you fired. You have to have that mindset when it comes to all of this, everything. I feel some type of way on Warren Street over there by when you come up Warren after you pass Latin after you pass Walgreens, after you pass Latin, and there's a huge stretch of road that's effed up. Like the whole road is effed up. You gotta damn near drive on the left side of the lane in order for you to just get past this little where the auto body shop is, the little mechanic. Why? I pay taxes. Fix the road. 311, Nate. I sure do. I call them once a day. Every time I drive past, I'm like, listen, hey, boo, how you doing? Like me and 311, I ain't got no problem snitching on the city. I pay taxes. Do what you're supposed to do. And what $18.6 billion is in space right now of your tax paying money. So how you feel about that? Many of us don't care. We do not care. You get all that money taken out of your check and you don't care what's done with it. 1 in 8 Americans had already had COVID-19 by October. The National Antibody Study finds that it could mean that the U.S. is closer to herd immunity than experts thought. And so researchers at Emory University conducted a nationwide survey with antibody testing to see how many people had previous coronavirus infections. More than 39 million Americans have been infected by the end of October. That's an estimate. Confirmed cases are still likely to be the tip of an iceberg, and Black Americans, Latinos, and those who live in cities are more likely to have been affected. More than 29 million Americans have been diagnosed with COVID-19, according to Johns Hopkins University data. And, oh, damn it. The other article that I was about to read that I just closed was talking about how many people that had coronavirus who tested positive didn't even have symptoms. So they were asymptomatic but tested positive for coronavirus. No coughing, no illness, no nothing. And so we are steps closer to herd immunity. And so if you want to get your vaccine, and getting your vaccine is something that you are interested in doing, then I would tell you to sign up. Hold on, I'm about to do it. Put the link so you guys can sign up. Or if you know somebody who is currently in like this moment in time, whatever they're telling you, you can get it, or whoever can get it at this time. I'm going to post this, have them log in, put their information. It's www.nextleads.org/connect. Again, that's NEXT leads, LEADS.org/connect without the S. And they can go ahead and put their information in there, let them know that, I need, I need services. If you need a gift card, if you need access to the vaccine, if you need access to food, because we help Miss Shirley distribute the food via drop-offs. If you know an elder that's in need, just hit up nextleads.org/connect. And this is a little mini Wakanda within Boston. So if you know any Black people that are willing to have not even a partnership, but be a part of a system of people helping people, nextleads.org. That is Dr. Tia Martin's nonprofit, and I help with that. And so, Tayla, should Meghan Markle have married a Black man instead? Is this a real question, the truth? Because I am certain that Meghan Markle would have married a white man in Hollywood if she didn't end up snagging a prince. That's like, who she marries is not my business. What is my business is that the monarch is falling. The monarchy is falling. And what I would like to see is for more countries to be like, yo, since y'all have a problem with Black folks, can we have all of our stuff back? Can Tanzania have their stuff back? Can Ethiopia get their stuff back? Can Nigeria get their stuff back? Mozambique. Can Mozambique please get their stuff back? They have freaking remains of old kings and queens. And the queen got everybody's jewels. They ain't hers. So do I think Meghan Markle should have married a Black man? I don't care who the girl would have married. That's not my business. Whoever she want to marry is who she want to marry. I saw a meme, and it was the sexiest meme. It said that what the boys' names? Harry, Meghan, and Harry. Yeah. So it said that Harry is protecting his wife like he wished somebody would have protected his mama. That was everything for me when it comes to men protecting women, when it comes to men being that barrier. And so that's why what's the other Megan's name who married a pastor and she was an actress, and her pastor husband was just like, what you not gonna do is disrespect my wife. What you not gonna, like, whatever her past is her past, and who she is today is who she is today, and she can wear whatever she want to wear. She can talk to whoever she want to talk to, because our relationship is built, like, for a man to be the intimate, like, I love that. That is the sexiest thing in the world. Yes, daddy, protect me from myself. Visit Oasis Veggie Parlor. Yes, in Four Corners. Shout out to, I can see her. It's clear as day. She's Ethiopian. Her husband is Ja and is an artist. And I can't say her name right now, but it's absolutely amazing. My favorite is the kale. I don't know how they make that kale, but it is dope. True Megan's purpose was revealed to the world. Listen, Megan is open. Like, again, we did a study and found we didn't need the study. We didn't need them to come out and talk to Oprah. We already knew what we knew. Like, nobody needed to tell it. Nadra, thank you. Nadra. Shout out to Nadra. Shout out to Oasis Veggie Parlor located in Four Corners. It really is amazing. I'm going to say with love that vegetables are costly. So you're not going to get a $3 burger with, $2 fries and have a $7 meal. Like, if you actually get a plate, it's going to be a $15 plate. And based on the United States portions, non-control that we have, you still may be hungry. But the food is absolutely amazing. And please order in advance and don't think that it's going to be ready in 15 minutes. Give yourself time, because fresh food takes time. Just like Zaz says, it's not fast food, it's fresh food. Sit your ass down and you're going to have to wait on it. And it may take you some time. And so the food is absolutely amazing. Please give yourself enough time. Don't, order and think you're going to rush and just pick up real quick, because you'll order 30 minutes ago and get there and be like, it'll be up in 10 minutes. And so I just want you to be mindful. And, I say it with love that I want you to be prepared when you get there. Why so interested in what Bolger does? This case really affects us. I think we need to get more of our cops in there, and we'll eventually weed those guys out. It was also like 7 years ago. That was also a question that I asked 7 years ago. They still exist. They're not gone. They're probably one of the ones that got drunk and hit somebody while on duty, while they, during the New Year's Eve party that the entire police team was a part of. What is it? The undercover team? We're all drunk at a party on New Year's Eve. Supposed to be working. Never heard anything about that. I'd love somebody to report on that, because they ain't released me anything. I've asked questions. Got no answers. The legendary news anchor Roger Mudd dies at 93 years old. The network pays tribute to the star, who covered civil rights movement, the Vietnam War, and Watergate during his 50-year career. And so he frequently filled in for Walter Cronkite. This is Walter Cronkite. I remember him from being little. Mudd later joined NBC, where he co-anchored the evening news with Tom Brokaw, and hosted Meet the Press. He subsequently moved to PBS and the History Channel, and also taught journalism at Princeton University. Mudd is survived by his 4 children, 14 grandchildren, and 2 great-grandchildren. Yes, Lord, please bless me with all them great-great-great-great-grandbabies. I can't wait for all of them. Well, actually, I can wait. Let me speak. I can't wait for all of them. Hackers breached security company Vertica and gained access to 150,000 surveillance cameras in jails, hospitals, Sandy Hook Elementary, Equinox gyms, and the Tesla factory. I don't think y'all don't. Your brain don't work the way my brain does. So let me break this down to how it happened in my head was 150,000 surveillance cameras. What are you looking for? What were you looking for, huh? What is about to be broken into? The Verkada, a Silicon Valley startup, was hacked on Monday. The collective of international hackers said that they did it for fun. They also wanted to show how pervasive the surveillance of citizens was. The hackers obtained the password to a super admin account to gain access. They spied on hospitals, schools, jails, factories, gyms, offices, police stations. Oh, you don't like being spied on. You don't like being hacked. You don't like it when people take control of the camera. Then why you keep doing it? They're going to continue to do it. But I see where you're going with this. They said that the breach has now been contained and they are investigating. But the truth of the matter is, so many people cover up their camera on their computers, which doesn't make any sense to me because they can still see you on your phone unless you have a flip phone. They can still see you. They can still tap into your phone. They can still it wasn't really a study, but there was a study done of a dude who had like 80 different phones in a red wagon, and all of the phones were off. They weren't even on. They were off. And he did this to prove a point. He had all of these phones in a red wagon and was taking it walking it down the street, and it looked like a traffic jam. How the phone's off and it looked like a traffic jam with the 80 phones? Play if you want to. I remember there was also, I remember reading a report like 6 or 7 years ago about, what is it called? Hey, Shamara. Thank you, boo. It's on your, what's the name? It's on your YouTube? Yes, just in time. Thank you. All right. Y Sham, shout out to Y Sham. Lunch is over. She is so dope. I love me some her, and she is the best one. In January of 2020, pause. The story that I read 6 or 7 years ago was about the ability that Google and others had when it came to your personal phone. And so it was just like, oh, when you think you're shutting off your location services, you can still be located. And they took the SIM card out. They took everything out. They powered the phone down, and they found that in like the cache or in the whatever that is, the tracking. And so they took the phone and they brought it to like a professional hacker, whatever, whomever, who accessed the phone's information. And it literally, while no SIM card, phone being off, was able to download every location that he took the off phone, no SIM card to. And this was 7 years ago. Like, I don't know why we act like we have any type of privacy, and like that tape over the camera is doing something when you have an entire computer in your hand. And one of the things that I wanted to mention, let me see if this can work. I'm sorry in advance, but I'm not sorry. Is this speaker on? Oh, it's not working right now. So what I was trying to do was, when I'm in the studio and like somebody calls my phone and I have my phone on a speaker, the speaker goes crazy. When you put the phone close to like a transmitter, you can hear the, what's the word I'm trying to say? Like feedback, I guess. And not even just that. So my uncle, you guys know, people in my family, mad DJs everywhere. So we got that big ass speaker, like that big speaker that played music for like a party speaker. And if you go ahead and plug in like a little phone jack, if you take that phone jack and put it near, like you can hear the frequency near the phone. I promise. I feel like whenever I have my phone in my hand for too long, like I can feel the warmth of the radiation, and the most that I feel it in is like right here, or like right here, and I have a what is that? Something transmittable or non-transmitted organite. I have an organite necklace and an organite bracelet, and I feel like the organite like stops it from going up my arm. I don't know if it's a true thing or not, but that's what it feels like. So I just want you to be mindful because we don't know. This is a form of radiation, right? And so if you have to put on a damn gown in order for you to get your x-ray for 10 seconds when you go and get your teeth checked, I want to know what the radiation is going to do. Like, what does that look like when people like, I have arm cancer, I have hand cancer, or something to that effect. And I know one of my friends, this was like 5 years ago, one of my friends was telling me that she had a homebound or a bedridden friend who always had the computer like on their stomach while they were typing or while they were working, and just like worked with the computer on them, and ended up getting some type of radiation poisoning, and they couldn't figure out what it was. And it while they did the process of elimination, it was because of the computer was constantly on this area of the midsection. And it really makes you think, like, how much are we harming ourselves? How much? We are strengthened and inspired by you. Beyonce thanks Meghan Markle for her courage and leadership 2 days after the Oprah Winfrey interview. And I just wanted to say that because I really just love the camaraderie around this, because again, we knew this. It's not new information. Michelle Obama is inducted into the U.S. National Women's Hall of Fame alongside soccer player Mia Hamm and Pepsi Company CEO Indra Nooyi and NASA mathematician Katherine Johnson. And so shout out, say they name. Shout out to all of the women that have been inducted. This is beautiful and I love it. And I previously had no idea what the U.S. National Women's Hall of Fame was. And so I went and visited the website, and there's like for years when the fact that we even had to have a National Women's Hall of Fame. I bet you the men's one has been going on for a long time, and there was a woman who was just like, you know what, F this, I'm gonna make my own. That's not really what happened. I don't know. But some who have been inducted have been Maya Angelou, Patti LaBelle. Who else? View all the inductees. Who else will we know? Jane Addams. Marian Anderson. I know Marian Anderson. She's a black woman. Of course, Maya Angelou. Susan B. Anthony. Ella Baker. Mary McLeod Bethune. Yes. And this is like going way, way back. Who was the first one? You clearly were not the first one, because that's a black and white picture. That's a color picture. Yo, this lady looks St. Francis Xavier Cabrani. Like, if you guys go to the website and look for yourself, Gwendolyn Brooks. I'm just here for everybody black. Julia Child. Wasn't she racist? Shirley Chisholm, Bessie Coleman, Angela Davis, of course. Thank you. Paulina Kellogg Wright Davis. She looked like she was the first one. Dorothy Day. Sylvia Earle. Why do I know Sylvia Earle's name? She looks mad familiar. Miriam White Eldman. Ella Fitzgerald. Aretha Franklin. Betty Friedan. There's a lot. Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Go on, Ruth. There's so many. Hansberry. Hey, Fannie Lou Hamer. Barbara Hillary. There's a bunch of them. Zora Neale Hurston, Shirley Ann Jackson, Mae Jemison, Barbara Jordan. I'm just here for everybody black. Amazing, beautiful women. Who's the Marian Anderson, the greatest conductor, said your voice is such as one hears once in 100 years. I want to hear her voice. Marian Anderson's voice. Don't judge me. I go down rabbit holes like this all of the time. She sang at the Lincoln Memorial. Let's fast forward this a little bit. Ashe, Ashe. Marian Anderson. That was Marian Anderson. And if you Google it and look on YouTube, you can see video of like the segregation. It was like black people and white people. It's crazy to think that it was really like that. So Sylvia Earle is an oceanographer, conservativist, and an entrepreneur, scientific in general. But I like her face looks so familiar. Maybe like from my days of watching what is it? The Ocean Planet, Animal Planet. I'm thinking maybe it's like Animal Planet days because they talk about the ocean floor, her adventures and sense of discovering the ocean floor. But her face just looks so familiar. Let's pay this bill, and then when we come back, it'll be 12 o'clock, and then I can play this amazing thing for you that I'm so excited to share. I am Tayla Andre. Waking up with Tayla Andre has absolutely nothing to do with this time of day. We link up at about waking up your third eye with unorthodox conversations leading to universal consciousness. You are tuned in to Spark FM Online. Make sure you download the app and engage with us on all forms of social media. Like, subscribe. Let's F up the algorithm because YouTube, Facebook, Instagram want you to look at what they want to look at. Share, like, subscribe, mess up the algorithm.
You are now listening to join us on Facebook and Instagram at SparkFMOnline.com. What's up, everybody? This is James Jimmy Hills, host of Java with Jimmy on Spark FM Online. Make sure you tune in every Monday and every Wednesday from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. Also, follow Java with Jimmy on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And don't forget to go to Spark FM Online and download the app. Listen to Spark FM Online 24/7.
I am Tayla Andre, waking up with Tayla Andre. Has absolutely nothing to do with the time of day we link up, but about waking up your third eye with unorthodox conversations leading to universal consciousness. I am so excited that I get to share this awesomeness with you. And so on Monday for International Women's Day, I was honored to host an event put together by DJ Sham, who is so dope in her own right and everything that she does, and she's not afraid to have like real conversations. I hosted her first ever event, and so to be tapped on the shoulder to host this event just made me like really put me. It made my heart warm and fuzzy. And so I'm going to share with you what happened on Monday for International Women's Day. Okay. So hold on. Let me get this ready for you. There's so much news that I want to share with you. So if I drop something in the chat, it's because there was other news that I wanted to share that we didn't get through, that we didn't get to. And I just want to put you in a know so you can have a better understanding of what's going on in the world. That's the wrong thing. Hold on. That's not what I want to show you. Stop it. Here it is. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
What's good? My name is DJ Washam. Thank y'all for being here. I'm gonna turn this over to Tayla Andre. I just wanted to bring, all the women in the city, or as many people I can together for this. I think it's a historic moment that's going to happen, no matter who. Well, I told them both. I'm very, very biased, so I definitely just want a woman to win. So that's why I put this together, and I'm gonna keep definitely trying to support on the back end, but I want to introduce the one and only Wake Up with Tayla Andre on Spark FM during the weekdays. She is a pioneer. She is fierce and she is ready. So welcome to Tayla Andre and Baby Prince. Look at Baby Prince already know who the star of the show is.
Yes, good evening. I am Tayla Andre, and I'm so sorry. He's supposed to be upstairs. I don't know what wetness just hit my lips, but if you guys have kids, I hope I'm not the only one going through this right now. So first of all, I just want to give a shout out to Sham because this is the second event that I've hosted with her, and every single time she puts something together, it's meaningful, it's purposeful, and it's intentional. And so Sham, I just want to say thank you to you for continuously always opening the door for conversations to be had that a lot of people are scared to even discuss. And so thank you for you. I would like to say, give a few quotes about voting. So my vote is my voice and the voice of all who have struggled so that I may have a voice. And that's Lydia Upsia. The importance of voting. If we do not vote, we are ignoring history and giving away our future. That's Pat Mitchell. And Abraham Lincoln said the elections belong to the people. It's their decision. If they decide to turn their back on the fire and burn their behinds, then they will just have to sit on their blisters. Last but not least, I would like to say you can either vote by voting or you can vote by not voting. And someone else's vote counts more. It's math. And so with that being said, I too am very biased. I want a woman of color to win, and I'm going, like I'll say it with my chest a couple times. I could go on and on about the importance of voting, the importance of every election is determined by the people who show up. And so we need to show up and show out for this election in record numbers like we did when it came to the Obama election. I am super excited to be a part of this conversation, but not just that. I am excited for the people that are part of this evening's event. So again, shout out to Sham. Thank you so much. I know everybody else is clapping, even though we can't hear them. I would like to introduce Cynthia Losheen Johnson in the importance of being a mom in power.
That's going to be on me because all of y'all pretty sure are moms. So she had mom duty. So we're going to have the next biggest mom in charge, Rep China Tyler, take over that. so we're gonna navigate it to her. But yeah, sorry, Cynthia is doing some mom and family duties right now themselves. But I don't judge y'all. I don't got no kids. I got guy kids. I don't judge none of y'all when y'all tell me y'all can't do it. I just be like, okay, okay.
Hello, so good evening, everyone. Happy International Women's Day. Happy Women's History Month. And for those of you that don't know, I feel like I know most folks here on the call, and I know it's being recorded. So, just for formal introduction, I am representing Tayla. I represent the 7th Suffolk District here in Massachusetts, which includes parts of Roxbury, Dorchester, Fenway, and the South End. I am the chairwoman of the Boston delegation and also the chairwoman of the Massachusetts Black and Latino Caucus. And am fortunate enough this year in my legislative session to be able to vice chair the Judiciary Committee, amongst a couple of other committees that I will be a member of coming this legislative session. And so I just wanted to come on and first of all and say thank you to all the candidates who pulled their name and got signatures to be able to get in there and to be able to run for election. I was 26 years old when I decided to run for an election, and my daughter was then about like 4 or 5 years old. And it's not an easy task to be able to do. And so I know I see Michelle here, I see Andrea later, who both have young children. I see Tayla there with her son. It's not an easy task, but we do it so effortlessly and so flawlessly that I have to give credit when credit's due. So thank you to all the moms on the call. And that's that. And then on voting, what can I say about voting? I mean, our people have been disenfranchised from just access to government since the beginning of time. People in our community, or particularly of the Black community, have died and have lost their lives to, just for fighting for our right to be able to vote. And so it really pains me when I see people these days not, engaging in government. And I take responsibility over that, and how we try to combat issues of making sure that people can responsibly engage in government is making sure that they have the actual facts, they have information, in that the platforms that they're voting for are impactful platforms. People don't engage in government because they don't feel that they don't trust the government, and rightfully so at different points in times, given their life experiences. And so, what we try to do, as far as elected officials is concerned, we try to make sure that we have impactful platforms and that we use our platform to be able to make sure that people have information that they need, that they know that their vote counts just as much as the next person's vote that does count. And a little bit about voting. If you're not happy with the people that are on your ballot, you can still get out and vote. You can still vote blank if you're not happy. Again, I just encourage everybody to get out and cast your ballot. Because your vote does count. And if you have any questions as to what candidate is doing what, reach out to that candidate and ask them what is the solution for whatever issue topic that you're facing. Because again, you're going to have to deal with that person for the next up and coming however many years it takes for the office to turn over and be able to come back up on a ballot. And so make sure you ask tough questions. And again, they're prepared for it. They jumped into this race and they want to run for office for a reason. So ask those questions. I'm sure they'll be able to handle it. And happy Monday, and I hope everyone has a great week. Thank you.
Thank you, Rep China. That was beautiful. Shout out to you being an amazing mom as well. Shout out to all of the moms. For those who do not know, International Women's Day began in 1908 civil unrest when women, 15,000 women marched through New York City demanding shorter hours and better pay, and how like 1908, we're over 100 years and we're still demanding the same damn thing. So we still want equal pay, and I know I would like a 4-day work week. Up next we have Felicia Chance, 4-star, importance of seeing women lead.
Hi, everybody. I am Kalisha. I run 4-Star Dance Studio along with my mom and my godmother. I'm a woman that was born and raised in the city, who was able to see small pockets of women that were elected in the positions. As I said earlier, my mother and my godmother are the owners of the studio, and the studio is under my direction. And I think that by seeing women lead, we know that things get done, and ideas leave paper and become reality. I am super nervous. And I'm a dancer, so I usually dance and not talk, but yeah. Um,
You're okay.
Thank you. My past was grounded by women like my mom and my grandmother, and my present is being scaffolded by women like Stacey Abrams and from Georgia, obviously, you guys know that. And my future is being created by women that are sitting in this room. So I'm grateful to be a part of this and to speak of the importance of seeing women lead because that's what we need.
Yes, yes, and you got this, baby. You are out here. Somebody say Keontae. Keontae can't get nervous. Up next we have Michelle Wu, the importance of voting, and women in charge.
Everyone, I'm so honored to be in this incredible group of leaders, change makers, trailblazers, activists. I am someone who, growing up, never thought I could or would ever run for office. I'm the oldest kid of immigrant parents, and the idea was that we were supposed to keep our heads down, right? Not cause trouble, not rock the boat. And what I realized in my family's experience of navigating language barriers, cultural barriers, social barriers, of taking care of my mom after she began to struggle with mental illness and raising my sisters, is that we are all, as much as we might be trying to quarantine ourselves, separate ourselves, stay healthy individually, we're all bound by the same systems that have been failing us, and that we need to step up and make sure in this window of recovery from the pandemic that we're not just putting band-aids on situations, right? All the moms in the room know it's not just about taking care of the immediate, the urgent harms that need to be fixed, but how do we build the best possible city, world for our kids to grow up in, and for their kids to come after that. And so I'm just so excited on International Women's Day to be with this powerhouse group. We know if you want something done, ask a woman to do it. And I'm just blown away by what has happened in this city in just a small number of years. When I ran for council the first time in 2013, and in that election, we doubled the number of women serving on the council, right, from 1 out of 13 to 2 when I was able to join then Councilor Ayanna Pressley. And after election, activism, people getting involved, women stepping up, community activists, those in office saying we're going to keep the doors wide open, we are now serving for the first time ever with a city council that has a majority people of color and a majority women. And that connection to community, that urgency, is something that we want to keep building and expanding. So, the importance of voting, again, I grew up in a family that never saw ourselves reflected in government, but as Tayla said already, if you're not voting, you are effectively letting other people decide that vote for you. City races have notoriously low voter turnout. You think about how many people come out to vote for president or even for governor, cut that in half or less, that's who usually comes out to vote for mayor. So we're going to flip that on its head this cycle. The elections are coming up, September 21st preliminary election for city council and mayor, November 2nd final election, again, city council and mayor. And we need to make sure that we are matching the energy on the ground with that energy at the ballot box to make sure that all of Boston's voices are heard in shaping our future together. So I'm incredibly honored to be here with everyone and really, really excited to be part of this moment in our city when we need to bring bold, urgent leadership and amplify every voice across our community.
Mm-hmm. And so we're going to jump into the Q&A with Councilor Wu. My first question, if anybody watched the Wake Up with Tayla Online show, it was one of the questions that I asked you when you and I interviewed together was, as far as mistakes that you made in your past, within your first year, you mentioned that mistake. How do you, and you recovered, and from that mistake, specifically the housing mistake, of how you voted regarding the BRA, the Black Removal Authority. Specifically, the numbers came out
The city isn't doing well. $2 billion, 1% of that went to Black people.
Actually, it was 1% to Black and Brown.
Right.
To Black-owned businesses was 0.44%.
Thank you for clarifying that. If you were mayor, how would you rectify the harm that has been done?
Yeah, so it is. I mean, it's just. I'm trying to contain the rage because this issue is one that I have been fighting, and we've been legislating, we've been protesting, we've been putting forward solutions from the community for over half a decade, for the majority of my time on the council. I was proud to partner with then Councilor Ayanna Pressley when we passed the first ever ordinance requiring equity in the city contracting process. It's about $660 million per year that is spent, and 98+% of that goes to businesses owned by white men, and more, the vast majority of that outside Boston as well. So we've known for a number of years that the city of Boston is falling far short of where we should be. But it wasn't until this disparity study finally came out just a couple weeks ago that we realized really how little excuse there was. Because often we hear, we want to do contracting with businesses owned by people of color, owned by Black and Brown residents in the city, but the availability isn't there, right? This study definitively proves, it's $1 million study that proved that without even trying, the city of Boston should be multiples above where we are in terms of our contracting with Black and Brown businesses. We need to make sure that we're streamlining and empowering the position. So we need to create a single point of contact, a point of accountability, an office with budget and funding to make sure that there's someone doing this full time, bringing in our residents and ensuring that we are aligned, getting every bit of value out of taxpayer dollars. But it's more than just, if you think about Boston's potentially, biggest in the country racial wealth gap, right? We've been on those lists in terms of the most unequal city in the country over the last couple of years. And we all know the statistics about just how big that gap is. It is about a focus of creating political will to say we're going to attack it from all angles, that it's not just going to be one office that has, a couple positions thinking about this. Every single part of our city government is going to have racial equity and justice as the starting point, as the lens through which everything is decided. So we're going to put our money where our mouth is. We're going to make sure to bring every community into the process, and we're going to follow up with these specific plans from on the public safety side, on the education and school side, on healthcare access side. We are a city that is so well resourced, but we're not connecting those resources to our communities because we're siloed and segregated on the community side, and we are also siloed and segregated in how we tackle the issues. Instead of addressing them individually, one by one, stuck in these silos, we need an intersectional approach that acts with the urgency of our communities.
As far as you talked about Ayanna Pressley and working with Ayanna Pressley to pass ordinances, those ordinances weren't being upheld. And when we take a look at the numbers, as far as the city council is concerned, there were things that could have been done that have not been done. So as mayor, what would you do differently that could open the gates so that city council had more authority, autonomy, like the ability to actually get things done?
Yeah, I stood with my colleagues and we voted to advance what our sister Lydia Edwards has put forward in terms of charter reform that would even out the budgetary authority of the city council. So right now there's just an up or down vote and that's it, and no ability to think about specific line items or specific departments. So this charter change would even that out a little bit. One of the biggest reforms that I propose, that I have done a lot of research on and continue to stand by, is that we are fundamentally exacerbating nearly every inequity in the city with how our development system is run, right? The BRA, or now called the BPDA, is a way of concentrating power to bypass any sort of community involvement and to facilitate development at all costs. So we need to dismantle that structure to return some of the, separate planning and development, return the planning to the city side with accountability, with oversight, to set rules that hold across the board so that not every project goes through this or that variance or waiver or exception process. That is one of the fundamental ways that we can give up the power on the executive side to be able to bring community into a process where we're centering the actual needs, the scale, and the urgency of what communities are going through.
Final question, and this comes from community. How did your office inform the Black and Brown community about opportunities, or specifically, how has your office over the years intentionally made yourself available, and what changes have you made for the Black and Brown, for minorities? Like, what has your office done to ensure that minorities have access where inequitably others do have access?
So there is a couple different ways that I think we have to think about advancing racial justice and making sure that we're centering Black and Brown communities in particular. One is on the policy, that every ordinance, every piece of legislation we put forward is one that is focused on closing gaps, on making sure we are bringing the full bear of city resources to the entire community. So I've been proud to pass legislation, as I said, on equity in city contracting, on ensuring that we have language access and communications access so everybody can be part of City Hall and access city services, on equity in healthcare, on increasing our renewable energy sourcing and bringing climate justice, which is one of the burdens also that Black and Brown and immigrant communities are bearing primarily, and focusing on issues like transportation access, with the push for fair, free transportation, centering Black and Brown communities and making a difference in how, in one of the places where we have the biggest gaps in our system, 64 hours per year that Black bus riders spend on city buses compared to white riders. And we know that removing the barrier of financial access, speeding up those routes, would be one of the fastest ways to close that gap. But besides policy, whenever there's been a chance to center community and use the platform that I have to bring people in, I've fought to make sure that we're opening doors, whether it's supporting other people of color who've been running for office, or in my home ward committee, Ward 18, launching an effort that we decided we wanted to have a more representative and inclusive and democratically accountable ward committee, the structure of local democratic politics closest to the people. We decided to set goals that we would have the same representation as the demographics of this ward. So 2/3 people of color, right? A majority women. And we did that and brought a whole new group of people into positions of elected leadership through the platforms that I've been privileged to have and to see this effort happen across the city. And then when it comes to my own team, ensuring that we are creating a team that is reflective and representative of the diversity of Boston, the languages of our city, within our staff, as well as the internships and paid spots that we've been making sure are available in City Hall, with paid spots to center students of color who might not otherwise have been able to participate in these opportunities. And so for me, I'm, as one of the younger folks on the council, it's been especially important to follow the lead of our youth activists, of our Black and Brown youth across the city who are leading the way for change. And so we've had a youth advisory council as part of our team. We are partnering with youth and students in so many ways on the campaign side as well. And most of all, it's making sure that we are democratizing decision-making in every space that I have the privilege to sit.
Thank you for your time. Next, we have Kate Swag, TYBG. Thank you, Black Girl.
We over here, that's that.
You're okay. Hi, everybody. Happy International Women's Day. Can I get a thumbs up if you can hear me? Word. So this song is called "Thank You, Black Girl." I wrote this song specifically because I feel like in society now it's sort of a thing where society will acknowledge all of the contributions Black women have made to society, but no one ever really says thank you. And I feel like we needed a little anthem. So yeah. Thank you, Black girl.
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 Thank you, Black girl. In a world full of lies and deception, I look into the mirror and see you in my reflection. You are DEA beautiful, yet it's undisputable. Everything that's good came from you, per usual. They imitate the hips and the lips that you was born with, calling you a hoochie if you flaunt it. Cause if it's white, it's alright, but if it's black, send it back. Wearing Botox so your skin won't crack. But you don't even gotta do that. You'll be 60 with the 30-year-old still saying, damn, who that? And it's the true fact. Your melanin's so radiant, that's why society is always throwing all the shadiness towards you. Black girl, you make big butts cool. You make the norms in the world and they just follow the rules. They imitate your moves, but that's a form of flattery. The world is a flash like black girl, you the battery. Thank you, Black girl. Thank you, Black girl. The world is a waste of Black girl, you the girl. Thank you, Black girl. Thank you, Black girl. The head full of Angela Davis girls. Thank you, Black girl. 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 Cause I deserve that. They used to say that. Thank you, Black girl. 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 Cause I deserve that. Tell me, can you really feel me? I'm as black as I wanna. Can you handle all the real me? Even when I wrap my head and wear my favorite silky, the world's playing dirty. We gon' clean up all the filthy. Pretty black girl, pretty black girl. You are more than a conqueror, baby. It's your world. Pretty black girl, pretty black girl. Despite your circumstances, you gon' get what you deserve, which is everything. You deserve it all, cause you gave it all. Even when the world was against you, you refused to fall. And you shouldn't have to. I'ma do everything I have to make sure black girls get a statue. Thank you, Black girl. Thank you, Black girl. The world is a waste of Black girl, you the girl. Thank you, Black girl. Thank you, Black girl. The head full of Angela Davis girls. Thank you, Black girl. 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 Cause I deserve that. They refuse to say those words. Thank you, Black girl. For real. Thank you, Black girl. For real. Thank you, Black girl. 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 Cause I deserve that. They refuse to say those words.
Thank you, Black girl. Thank you for that.
Thank you, and thank you for having me.
Can you send that to me so we can play it tomorrow?
Absolutely.
All right. So up next we have Sam Spot Catering, the importance of Black women, minority-owned businesses.
Hello, ladies. Happy International Women's Day. I'm so sorry. I just want to say thank you, Sham, for having me. It's an honor to be in the presence of so many powerful women, so many beautiful women. You guys are all amazing. Kate, that was very dope. I love that. Basically, I just wanted to just give a little motivational piece to the ladies that are in business and kind of feel discouraged at any point or kind of overwhelmed with just being a female, being a minority, and that alone is like a double. I would say it's pretty hard to be a female and a Black female in this type of environment of being your own owner or your own boss or trying to work for yourself and trying to make a name for yourself. Because a lot of the time I felt like I got a lot of no's, which kind of discouraged me a bit, but it didn't stop me. You know, it just kind of made me put into perspective of I have to create my own lane, and I also have to kind of take those who feel the same way as me, with me, because there's not really a lot of people that are like willing to reach out and give a hand to you in this time, because it's like everybody's so, I need to get it for myself, which is totally understandable because I mean, in all reality, we came in here alone, but at the end of the day, we're in a world full of people. You know what I mean? So I would just say to those that are in business to just stay motivated, stay consistent. People respect consistency. And there will be a time where you may have to take time for yourself, which I've come across a lot of times. I mean, I've been in business for almost 6 years, just about 6 years. And I didn't really introduce what I do. I have a catering company I started with, and then I currently moved into a brick and mortar space. So we are located in Field Corner, Dorchester. Um, and I mean, that alone is like overwhelming. So, and I mean, I came at it alone. You know, I didn't really have a lot of influence. I didn't really have a lot of people that have done it before. So it wasn't really like easy to kind of connect with people and get those resources that I would have like benefited from, I would say. So that's where I'm trying to step in and provide those and connect, like they, like women have said before, connect the dots in that aspect. Like the city is a scary place in itself. The city hall is like, I don't want to say it's a runaround, but it is like a lot of numbers you have to call, a lot of discouraging phone calls. And to be real, it's like you call one day, you give it a break, and then you might not call back. But what I do say is make sure you call back, make sure, and voting is extremely important in this case because as on the ballot is colorful women who would not only fight for us but also speak to us. You know what I mean? Like versus people that are unrelatable and they can't really understand our struggles, but they hear us, but they don't really feel us. So, I mean, I would just say use our voices. Anything I could do, anything I could be a resource to anybody coming up or anybody, anything I've learned, I'm always willing to share. I'm always willing to give back. Um, and for the moms, I'm opening an after school program at my location, and it's just more so to kind of encourage kids to take the entrepreneurial route if the college way is not the way they want to go. Not to say that I discredit college, because I've been to both. I've done college, I've done trade school, but I just want to make it an option. I want to create that lane that is not really given to them, because coming from the school I came from, I didn't really have that, like anybody telling me that, teaching me that, giving me that voice in my ear to say this is an option. So if I could do something to make a change or form an idea to a child in need of somebody to just listen to them, that's what I'm here to do. So again, I just want to thank you ladies for taking the time. I know I'm a little nervous too, kind of rambling at the mouth, but I'm definitely appreciative, and this is definitely a blessing, and I just wish the best of luck to everybody. Any endeavors, whether it's your own or whether you're just trying to make it day by day, because COVID and everything we have going on is just a struggle in itself. So I definitely send my love, positive vibes, and please, please, please come by, check us out. 1476 Dorchester Ave. We're not fully open yet, but when we are, I will definitely send the message you guys' way. So thank you.
Say, make sure you drop all the information in the chat.
I surely will.
Instagram, everything, so we can hit you up. And if you're not fully open, you still doing like side orders?
Oh yeah, we definitely still do catering. Absolutely.
All right, make sure you drop your information in the chat. Up next, I'd like to introduce Andrea Campbell and the importance of voting and women in charge.
Hey. Hey, Tayla. Hey, Washam. Thank you so much for having me. Sam, thank you for all the work you're doing in the community. And I love that song. Thank you, Black Girl. Thank you, Black Girl. So just really appreciate the space and the words of inspiration and encouragement. So, Tayla, what do you want me to talk about? What do you want me to say? You know, I came in being free and open-minded, answering questions, whatever you guys ladies want. Outside of Happy International Women's Day, as someone said, Happy Independence Day. Well, maybe it's that too. You're free. Just saying. So, just would love to, you know, I can tell folks about me, whatever you want me to talk about. But just thank you so much for creating this space.
Absolutely. Don't thank me, thank Sham, because she's dope and she does it.
We were going back and forth in the chat. Yes, thank you, Sham, for creating the space.
So you absolutely don't need an introduction. I think we know who you is. But as far as questions, like I do want to be fair, and I ask Michelle questions, and I want to be like keep it in the same vein. So we know like the procurement and contracts. We know the numbers, and Michelle gave us the actual number. Like Black people had 0.44% of the contract.
0.4%, less than 0.5%. That's right.
Yes, and so as mayor, what would you do to ensure that that was rectified? How would you fix what your mayor broke?
So a whole bunch of ways. There are a whole host of ways in which to close that persistent gap that exists in the city of Boston, and frankly, right, to make it easier for folks like Sam who exercise that courage to start a business to get all the supports they need from the city of Boston in doing that. One, there's been a lot of talk about just the need to resource the office itself, making sure it has enough human capital, it has enough resources in its budget to respond to our businesses. So when folks like Sam call the city, they don't have to wait days for a response. They don't have to navigate such bureaucracy. But that office needs to be resourced in such a way that they can respond quickly, provide technical assistance, of course, capital to start a business, and to open up networks to make sure that folks have access to these networks, not just in the city, but of course in the city hall departments, but in the city as a whole, right? There are a whole bunch of entrepreneurial networks that are often unavailable to our entrepreneurs. There's a lot of conversation happened for years on what it means to unbundle some of these contracts. We have very large contracts that if you were to unbundle them and make them smaller, more folks, including not just Black residents, but Latino and Latinx residents too, would be able to access those contracts in a better way. In addition to the contracting conversation and how the city of Boston uses its nearly $4 billion budget to make sure that folks in the city of Boston have access to this, we need to be partnering. There are a whole host of nonprofits. I mean, we talk about BECMA, we talk about ICIC, there are a whole bunch of nonprofits, private industry as well, that can help the city not only have capital, money to help folks start businesses, but the mentoring and the coaching and the technical assistance. Sometimes you need a lawyer. Sometimes you need a marketing person, right? This can be out of your reach if you don't have the resources to do it. The city of Boston has the platform to make sure that all these partners are engaged to help us make sure that folks who get these contracts are successful once they get them. I think that's critically important as well. And we know we have to prioritize the issue because it is important to close the racial wealth gap in the city of Boston. It's also going to be really important to help folks get back into some type of career opportunity. We've got a lot of low-wage workers, small business owners right now who are out of work, whose businesses will not bounce back. So it's going to be critically important that the city prioritize our nearly $4 billion budget, prioritize these businesses getting these contracts. And the time to do it is now. We don't need another study, obviously. That 700-page study told us exactly what we need to do, and there's things we can go beyond. One thing I would just lift up, all of this that I talked about is within the power of the city and the mayor's office. It can happen quite swiftly, and so I'm really excited for what I can do in my leadership as well in terms of making that happen.
So one of the things that we discussed was the vote on VRA and the vote for the VRA to have all this autonomy that they currently have. What would you as mayor do to ensure that the Black Removal Authority no longer has authority to remove Blacks?
Okay. First of all, I hear you, Tayla. It reminds me of a conversation I just had with someone said about the seaport. When are we going to create a Black seaport? Right, so all of this is possible. So I'm actually proud to have worked with the most diverse city council in the history of the council and name that I international women's day, right? We have the most women and people of color serving that Boston City Council. When we have pushed for legislation and legislative reforms to this body to ensure that one is really reflective of community, but there's more community voice on the board, that there's more community process for projects that currently do not go through process to ensure that folks have a voice. There's also various amendments, the fair housing amendment. It took 2 years for that to happen,
But it's a store, whereas every project that now comes through the city has to go through a review process to determine the effect it's going to have on affordability, displacement, and gentrification. That wasn't the case before. So the council has already done a lot in partnership, right? I wasn't looking at the people who did the partnership. Where the executive comes in is many of the things we've been attempting to push on the council side, many of the things I've been attempting to push can take years to happen if the executive or the mayor's office is not for it. And so I'm always looking at programs and things I've brought into my district where it's taken years for that to happen, where it shouldn't have taken years. With a stroke of a pen, you could have made transformed systems in such a way that we were not perpetuating displacement, gentrification, or building housing that wasn't affordable and at affordable pricing points, that we weren't building more home ownership opportunities, for example. So we'll continue to push for these things to happen quicker and faster because that's been the frustration of mine.
And so one of the community questions that came in was regarding people of color, Black, Indigenous, people of color. What has your office done to ensure that biopics, that we have had access to resources that we typically did not or would not have access to?
I appreciate that question. One, I always want to lift up that I got into this work, and as some of the folks on this call know, some may not, after losing my twin brother, who sadly, we both grew up in the city of Boston. We grew up in Roxbury in the South End. We went to all Boston public schools. I graduate from Latin, go off to Princeton, law school, the rest, start my legal career in Roxbury, representing parents in education cases. I'm by all metrics successful. My twin brother graduates from Boston Public High School, but instead of going off to reach his dreams, cycles in and out of the criminal justice system and passes away while in custody of the Department of Correction when he was only 29 years old as a pretrial detainee, as a result of receiving inadequate health care for a disease he had called scleroderma. He was 29. And so the question I asked when I entered this political arena, and it's not an easy arena to be in, is how did two twins born and raised in Boston have such different life outcomes? That is the same question that is fueling this run for mayor. It is the same thing that inspires me every single day, including on the hard days. Looking at what did I have growing up in this city, what opportunities, what mentorship, everything. What did I have that allowed me to be successful, and what didn't my brother have? So in doing the work on the council to support my district, which is predominantly a district of color, by certain metrics, one of the poorest in the city of Boston, my biggest neighborhoods are Dorchester and Mattapan, I've always had to think outside the box of how I get resources into my district. So have pushed, even when the administration maybe wasn't pushing with me, to bring in all kinds of programming. One, my first piece of legislation on the council was a Community Preservation Act. It was, took a lot of courage to file that legislation. It is now generating millions of dollars for affordable housing projects and expanding access to green space, particularly in communities that don't have it. We're about to review on the council side $25 million of CPA funding for community-based projects. Push for a couple of years for a program called Compass to come into our housing authority. And what does this program do? It is actually taking folks out of public housing and giving them opportunities to build their wealth. How? By building businesses and providing them with home ownership opportunities. It took me over 2 years to make that program actually be able to come into the Boston Housing Authority. And literally, if I were the executive, I often say it would have taken me 30 days. This program is, someone recently told me, it is on fire. We have a long waiting list of residents who want access to this program because it is proven to remove folks out of poverty. I've pushed for resources and capital to come into my businesses. So I have some really incredible Black-owned businesses, coffee shops, including in Ashmont, that are successful and opened up because we push for them to be supported and cut the red tape, etc. I focus a lot on civic engagement. I know Sam and others were lifting up the importance of centering community in our conversations. I started the Civic Empowerment Series in my district, where I was bringing together my district leaders to say, how do we work together in partnership? You guys don't just know the problems, you know the solutions. So I've done a lot of work with my civic leaders, invested in them, resources I had to fundraise for to make sure they were supported. So all residents who operate on a volunteer basis. And that turned into our Civic Summit.
Continue to push for other types of programming, whether it's saving programs available to our young people. When you look at all the check cashing locations in our district, supporting folks who are doing co-op models, and that type of work, which you know is proven to build wealth in communities of color. And the list goes on in terms of other accomplishments as well. But for me, this work is always, it's always operating with a sense of urgency and not wasting people's time, because I know, growing up poor in this city, I know the struggle. I felt it, I have lived it, but I also know what's possible in our city when you see all the resources that are flowing through this city. And so what we need is intentionality, urgency, and action.
Thank you for your time. Next, I would like to transition to Ava Sophia. Love is love.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Council.
All right, hello everybody. Again, my name is Ava Sophia. I am a singer-songwriter, and I'm so grateful to be in community with so many incredible women leaders tonight. This song is a song I wrote. It's called "Love Is Love." Uh-oh. Ooh, sorry, give me a minute.
No worries, no apologies, no real.
I'm dealing with a bad setup, but we are pushing through. Learning to live, learning to grow. Give all you have to give, and let your worst part show. We create joy and endure pain. We age from our mistakes and do it again and do it again. Love is love is love is love is love. And we do it all again. Love is love is love is love is love. The life that we know could all slip away, 'cause nothing is promised, not one single day. If I need a reason, then love is my choice. If I should speak, then love is my voice. Love is love is love is love is love. And we do it one more time. Love is love is love is love is love. We gotta hold on to it. Love is love is love is love is love. Love is love is love is love is love. So I just want to take a minute to thank DJ Wysham and everyone who was involved in putting this event together, and all the women who have been fighting for a better world for all of us and imagining the change that we want to see. Happy International Women's Day, everybody. Cause love is love is love is love is is love. And we do it all again. Love is love is love is love is love. And we do it all again. Love is love is love is love is love. And we do it all again. Love is love is love is love is love. Thank you guys so much.
Tia, thank you so much. I was gonna sing with you. I felt like everybody sang, but I wasn't trying to ruin it.
Oh no! Thank you so much.
Up next, we have Bria Gambro, Mass Now.
Hello, everyone. My name is Bria Gambrell. I am the co-director at Mass Now, and I'm so grateful to be in community with all of you tonight. So shout out DJ Washam for inviting me, and for all of you who have went ahead and done amazing singing. Like I'm just stuck on Ava's song right now. It was really beautiful. So at Mass Now, we have been working for over 50 years to pursue equity and justice for all throughout the Commonwealth. And we know that having more women representation in all forms of government is really what's going to bring about true change for all of us women, for all of us non-binary folks, for people just in general. Like it makes a better world for all of us. So I'm here tonight to really emphasize what everyone has already said and then some, but we need change and we deserve change, and electing a woman of color is amazing, and even the fact that we have that option is phenomenal. So I want to shout out to Andrea Campbell, I think she already hopped off, yep, and Michelle Wu, and just thank all of you for doing.
Okay, I'll play it back for them.
Okay, cool. And thank all of you for doing the amazing work you've already done. And I know that if elected, either of you will definitely make the change that we want to see at Mass Now, and what we know so many people in Massachusetts and in Boston want to see in general. Because Boston does set the stage for so much of what happens in Mass. So thank you again for having me. Would love to share more information about Mass Now and everything in between in the chat, and follow us on Instagram and Twitter.
Thank you, love. Thank you. We would not be here, and as far as here, I mean Spark FM, without our leader, our boss lady, Danielle Hot Sauce Johnson. Do you have any final words for us?
Hey. Hey everybody.
You sound like the TikTok. Hey.
How y'all doing? This has been awesome. The pieces of it that I can catch. I'm so excited to be amongst all you awesome ladies. I hope you guys had an amazing day. And girls run the world. We're out here. So big shout outs to all of you guys. It's been an awesome time. Thank you very much, Tayla, Washam. You guys are great.
And with that being said, I am Tayla Andre. You can find my show from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Spark FM Online. Please follow us on all of our social medias, Spark FM Online. I just shameless plug this sweater is a Tayla Andre sweater, a soul naked. From sweaters to real estate to a book that I wrote, the step-by-step guide for people preparing for first-time homeownership, because we have to prepare. We just don't wake up and say we're going to buy a house. We have to figure out what credit looks like, what the hell credit is, get our credit right, put our savings together, and I'm so sorry. Neither one of them have responded as of yet, but both have open houses this weekend. I am advocating for us to get in tonight or tomorrow, but I fear both of them are going to require us to on Spark FM Online. And make sure you please reach out, go to the website, hit us up on the email, and we would love to have your recording or your commercial play on air. Again, I am Tayla Andre. Washam, I love you. I thank you. I appreciate you for everything that you do. You continuously show up and show out for community, and you're willing to have hard conversations that no one else is willing to begin or start or even engage in. Thank you again, Danielle, Boss Lady, for preparing and setting the stage for all of us to be able to engage in ways in which matter to us as far as Black media is concerned. And so I hope you guys have an amazing night. Please make sure you check out all of the women who were singing tonight. Make sure you hit up all of the businesses and just continue to support one another because
Prince is going in.
I know, I'm so sorry.
Why? This is a part of his experiment. Oh, shoot.
Okay, can you say bye? See you later.
Thank you all. Thank you all. Definitely feel free. China, Tayla, I love you. Bria, thank you so much. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Y'all have a lovely evening. This will be posted on Spark FM in a couple of days. Make sure y'all check out Wake Up with Tayla Andre in the morning if you want to hear a recap. Have a great evening.
Waking up with Tayla Andre. That was so amazing. I love the entire event. I just want to say shout out to Sham once again for putting the event together. And we gonna get this camera. Boss lady, I don't like this camera. Can we get another one? I'm about to put back the one we had because this one sucked. I thank you. I love you. I appreciate you. I am Tayla Andre. Waking up with Tayla Andre has absolutely nothing to do with the time of day we link up, but about waking up your third eye with unorthodox conversations leading to universal consciousness. I was going to play this yesterday to the recap to Monday night, but I was in my feelings yesterday with my army fatigue, ready to fight whoever came in the ring. But with that being said, we played it today and you guys got to see the amazing event that took place for International Women's Day. And I am honored. That is my favorite title. I wear many a hat as Tayla Andre, but host is my favorite. TaylaAndre, everything Tayla Andre, TaylaAndre.com. My name is Tayla Andre. My name is Tayla Andre. My name is Tayla Andre, TaylaAndre.com. Again, I thank you. I love you. I appreciate you. Please download and like and subscribe and do all those things that mess up the algorithms. Mwah.